All right, good morning. It's gonna be another great day today, and looking forward to that. Um, Tamster and I hung out last night, had a great night, did a little work, just doing things like that, and then we settled in and watched a movie last night. It was a good movie. I love slow movies. This was called, I think, On the Vine. It was a just an odd story, but it was kind of an amazing. When I finish a movie, and if it makes me think and linger about some things, it's a good movie. And so, it had a great plot and kind of some quirky stuff in it. Good movie. Made me think about life and what matters. And so it's kind of where, in fact, that's where we are today in our story here. So um, I'm going to run to work today and come home. I got a little bit more work to do. I try to teach in the afternoon, different than this, and we're walking through really 7 vital areas of life that matter to us. It matters as Christ followers, and that we are growing and finding balance in those areas. It's a passion, really, that God's growing in me, and so I'm determined to help people do that. We've been looking at blockers, strongholds that keep us from kind of advancing and growing in life. Yesterday, we looked at the issue of fear. Today, we're going to talk about guilt. So those are in the afternoon. I don't know why I'm telling you all that, just because I like to chit chat before we jump into the Word. I want to hear what's going on in your world, and love catching up with you in those sense. And so let's jump into the Word, though. We're in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Now, Paul's moving into a teaching session here. It's really a reminding session. That's really what it is. He said, "Hey, man, he's reminding them." When he was there for about a month or so, we learn and glean what he taught them, and it's pretty powerful stuff on love and sexual purity and things like that. Then when he left, he was concerned about him because he had to leave in such a hustle because of the persecution in his own life and that of Silas in danger. And so then he sends Timothy to check on him. Timothy checks on him, comes back. Paul writes his letter. So he spent a lot of time just reestablishing a relationship with him. The first 3 chapters really are a lot of that. Rich truth. And then the 4th chapter and the 5th chapter, he's writing to them about some things. And it really is a good letter. They're doing everything right. He's just reminding them of things. And you get the feel that there's a pocket here or there of some things that he's a little concerned about. And the second letter, which I think we're going to just jump into when we finish this one, the second letter, he gets a little more specific. So we see some of the problems. This right now, the church looks like, man, it's just a great church. He's just like, hey, good job, high five. But hey, we can do better. But in the next letter, you're going to see where he's got some concerns and they grow. And so let's just jump into this. I've titled this "The Power of a Simple Life." It's a man, because that's exactly what it is. And so he is assuming a couple of things. One, he's just mentioned sexual purity. So he's talking about lust and how the whole world in which they live in is that. And he's like, look, man, you stop that. Stop doing that. Don't engage in that. Flee from that. Don't let that be a habit of your life. God judges that. He avenges that. Marriage is a sanctity. So let's don't mess it up. And now he shifts gears. But all of it's in the context of community. And so the thought that hit me as I've been walking through the book is, are you, this is a question for you, are you in a community of believers? I don't mean do you attend church. I don't mean do you have your tribe of people that you do life with. I mean a community of believers, right? Christ followers. In and out of your life. Not those who call themselves Christians. I'm not talking about that. There's a lot of people who call themselves Christians who are not. I don't mean those who attend church, because a lot of those are not. Those who name the name of Christ are not. I mean a community of believers. People of like mind that want to die to self, see Christ magnified in their life, and to do good in this world. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Everything in the Bible points to that as being a major assumption. I mean, go read any book, any book in the New Testament, any letter, any whatever it is, and you're going to see that community, a group of believers, an assumption that you live among them, that you walk among them, that they're in and out of your life. And so not just good people, not just family, but a community of believers. Christianity, the Christ life, is not just simply a set of religious beliefs. That's what we tend to. Oh yeah, we all believe the same, so let's just live life and not even talk about it. It's not that. It's not a set of. Every other religion is a set of religious beliefs. Just doctrine. Our doctrine is lived out. It's meant to be lived out. This is what it is. And so how do we live out our doctrine? Well, he's going to give us 4 things today. Very simple, profound, simply profound, right? Statements. And so I just want us to look out at those. And so here it is. I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to just break it down. There's 4 things in here, pretty easy to see. Verse 9. Now, as to the love of the brothers. He's shifting gears now. He's like, I've been talking about lust, sexual stuff, keeping pure there. Now as to the love of the brothers, right? So in opposition to lust and chasing this, now let's turn our attention to loving the brothers. You have no need for anyone to write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. For indeed you do practice it toward all the brothers and sisters. But I want to urge you to excel still more, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to attend to your own business and work with your hands, just as we instructed you, so that you may behave properly toward outsiders and not be in any need. This is powerful truth. We may not get to all of this today, but I just want to begin walking through this. And so the first thing he says is, hey, let's let love get better. I've been talking about letting life get better. It's a great phrase that I think about constantly. How can I let life get better? What can I do in my area, my family? How can I let that get better, right? How can I let my finances get better? How can I let my work get better? How can I let my faith get better, right? So Paul's doing the same thing here, and he says, hey, I just want to urge you to excel still more. Like, you're doing a good job. You're pretty good at being pretty good, but can we get better? And so this is what it is now. It's the contrast between the world's excelling in lust. That's what they excel in. Look around. That's what they excel in. He says, I don't want you to have passion toward worldly things. I don't want you to lust after things. It's the same message John was saying in 1 John. But he's basically saying, hey, look, imitate God, walk in love, right? Purity and love. These are the 2 things that are the bookends of the Christian life. Let's be pure and holy. Let's be loving to others. So he's saying, hey, let's abstain from sexual immorality. Let's really focus on loving each other. It's a brotherly love he speaks of. Now, as to the love of brothers and sisters. Now, as to Philadelphia, brotherly love, right? You have no need for anyone. Listen, you and I don't need anybody to teach us that, right? You know why? Because we're taught by God. Theos didaktos. Only place you're going to find that in all of the scriptures. Really, it's a word I think Paul made up. God teaches us to love. I mean, we can see examples of love. We know that Paul told Titus to teach the older women, to teach the younger women how to love their husbands, how to love their children, right? So there is that concept of practically how do we do that. But the idea that we don't need other people to teach us. Why? Well, because we've been God taught. God says, I got this one. I'm going to entrust teaching everything, to all the doctrines and everything to everybody else. But this one, it's on me. I'm going to teach you how to love. Well, how did he do that? Well, Romans 5:5 says that he shed his love abroad in our hearts. When we came to Christ, the Holy Spirit came to live within inside of us, and he brought with him the fullness of the love of God. So it's been poured into us, so much so that it spills over, and it is the defining mark of you and me as believers. True love, true brotherly love. He's always speaking of love toward brothers and sisters. There is a love that we have toward our enemies and everything else, but there's this strong sense that we should be in community, really excelling in loving each other. In fact, John says it's impossible to be saved without love. I mean, you just go read through the letter of 1 John, and you're going to see that love is a hallmark of it. In fact, he says, if you don't love, you don't know God. If you say you love God, but you don't love your brother, you're not even saved. So if there's no such thing as an unloving Christ follower. There's no such thing. So this is what he's calling for, and so they were doing this. He's saying let's focus, let's drill down, let's get better, let's do a master's course, right, in this, right. So you got your graduate degree, now come on, let's really excel, let's narrow down, let's do this better. See that? I mean, they were already showing hospitality to each other. In fact, he says that they were known in all of Macedonia. Your love is all of Macedonia. They see it. You're spilling not just your community, but you're going into other communities and you're loving. They're showing hospitality. They're serving. They're giving. They're encouraging. These are the elements of love. Listen, if you go through the one another's in the scriptures, you're going to see 12 or 14 of those, depending on how you pray for one another, serve one another, love one another, encourage one another, right? I mean, they're all in there. And so this is what it means. And so I want us to slow down long enough to look at that. And now this isn't speech. This isn't, oh, I love you, love you, love you. It's not that. It's not the words that come out of my mouth that says, it's easy to do that, especially in the South, right? I tell everybody that. I tell my guys at work, hey, man, I love you. And, it's funny. Sometimes I'm on the phone, I'm thinking, hey, don't, it's a client, man. Don't say love you when you hang up. Words flow like that. But he's not talking about speech. He's talking about action. That your love really it works, right? So this is what he's saying. Hey, let's excel in this thing called love. Let your love get better. And so we just should ask ourselves this question. Really, does your community know you love them? Not because you say it, but because you do it, right? Actively encouraging people, right? Just a phone call, a text. Hey, man, just checking in. Let you know I love you. Maybe taking a meal to somebody. Maybe inviting people into your home. I'm getting much more intentional about meeting with people and encouraging others and trying to get involved in just learning about what's going on in somebody's world with a mind to love them. Giving, right? Does your money go toward your brothers and sisters who have a need, right? I mean, is there that? This isn't about throwing money in the church. That's the least of my concern. Are you doing exactly what the scripture says, that we labor not for ourselves only, but that we may have something to give to those who have need? This is the Christian deal, that you and I would be meeting needs. There are people out there that have what you are in a position to give to them. So be generous there. This is a simple life, but this is the Christ life. We think, man, the Christ life is I need to, go stand on the street corner and preach Christ, and I need to get on Facebook and social media and just go crazy doing that. And Paul's going, no, it's a simple life, really. I just want you to excel in this thing called love. So here's the homework. Get after it, right? Find somebody today to demonstrate some loving. In fact, find a lot of people. Find 3 people. Find somebody just to, no matter what, however that brotherly love looks like to you, which basically is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's that golden rule. Love your neighbors yourself. Love one another as I have loved you. We've seen how Christ loves. So there's an example there. We know how we like to be loved, and so there's that example. I've got 2 examples. One of how Christ loved me. 2 of how I want to be loved by others. Take that. Those are the weapons, and then go love. That's the deal, right? And so this is what he says. And then we got a little time. I'm going to jump into one more. I'm not going to finish all these today because I want us to linger and think through these. So he spent 2 verses on that, right? Now, as to the love of the brothers and sisters, you have no need of anyone to write to you. Why? Well, because you yourself have been taught by God to love one another. I mean, God taught you. God filled you with His Spirit. He's teaching you how to love, because that's what the Spirit of Christ in us is always compelling and propelling us to do, to love God and to love others. And then he says, for indeed you practice it toward all. He says, I see you practicing it. I see you living out that love principle, who are in all of Macedonia, not just Thessalonica. Thessalonica was the capital of Macedonia, but there were other cities involved there. He says, I see it all over Macedonia. But I just want to urge you, brothers and sisters, do it better. Now, then he says this, and we'll come back to this tomorrow. I'm just going to throw it in here. And to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. Now, for some of you introverts and people like that, you go, hey, this is my game right here. That's all I want. Just leave me alone. Let me just lead a quiet life. He's basically saying to that you and I should strive eagerly to be quiet. Now, that's hard for some of us, right? But he's saying there's something about a simple life. That word, the quiet life, is an interesting word, quiet, but it means, because it's used in so many different ways, it means to live a peaceful life, right? That you're at peace, and in fact, you, by virtue of that, others find peace as they hang out with you. Do you have people like that? You just get with them, you go, man, it just feels good. I mean, I can relax. It just nobody's putting pressure on you. Nobody's like vomiting on you their mess. Nobody's demanding that you do something. They're just living their life, and they're just sitting down with you. And there's something powerful about that kind of an environment. Peaceful life, relaxed life, not wound tight like a drum. It's not like all anxious, or you're all just wired and ready to go. It's not that. Hey, it's just chill, just restful life. He says, I want you to live this way, tranquil, worry free. Just live a quiet life. Isn't that good? Hey, that's the message for today. I'm gonna leave you there. I've been trying hard to kind of shut these messages down a little more than 20 minutes and get back to little bite-sized chunks. And so we're just going to do that. I got no place else to go, right? So tomorrow we're going to finish the rest of these two. But those are the two, right? Let's excel in our love, and let's lead a quiet life. Man, he's going to get into it, and I want to so bad. But let's just lead a quiet life. So today, live a peaceful life. Just don't listen. Don't let things get to you. You got a lot to think about. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Why? Because you have a God who loves you and is watching over your life. He works for you while you wait for him. He neither sleeps nor he slumbers. His ear is attentive to our cry. He knows my needs even before I know them myself, and he already is prepared to meet those needs. So just leave a quiet life. Leave the hustle and bustle stuff up to the Lord. Just lead a quiet life. Love others. All right, man, love you guys. Can't wait to share this with you in the morning. We got 2 more to go in this one section, and Lord willing, we're going to knock it out tomorrow. Have a great day, and I will see you, Lord willing, in the morning.